At WA's Curtin University, important work to reduce the impacts of fungicide resistance in Australia's grains industry is underway. The Centre for Crop and Disease Management, or CCDM, is a partnership between GRDC and Curtin University set up to address fungicide resistance. And it's here that scientists are combining groundbreaking industry research with practical hands-on help for growers. The Fungicide Resistance Group supports growers and agronomists to understand proactive management for fungicide resistance and risks while building a future-focused science-based response.
One of those focuses is to monitor fungicide resistance, and so the ones that we know that are out there already, to make sure that we can understand where it's spreading. And the second focus is to understand whether we have any different or new fungicide resistance that is in the field.
Monitoring resistance and identifying new or different resistance relies heavily on growers sending in samples from across Australia. That can be done by requesting a formal test kit. Growers should contact the centre first to make sure your sample is sent appropriately for the disease you want tested, because some samples need to stay alive. And that's where Kat Zulak steps in with a passion for molecular plant pathology and fungicide resistance.
So if you want to sample a mildew, like a wheat powdery mildew or the barley powdery mildew, we'll send you a couple of different tubes and a set of instructions so that you can send us leaves that will arrive in good condition to our lab. If you want to sample, say for example, the net blotches, it's a little bit simpler because you can put the leaves just in a paper bag and send them on to us.
The team here is highly respected and is responsible for the discovery of a triple form of resistance in barley netform net blotch, with resistance to all three chemical groups registered for control in Australia. The centre itself showcases a suite of leading research technologies with capacity to conduct in-paddock detection that delivers results to growers and agronomists within a few hours.
New mutations and new mechanisms are popping up all the time, so it's really important that we have a toolbox that we can stay one step ahead of fungicide resistance. And if something new pops up, that we can understand it, and then we can also develop a new test to detect that in the field.
While field reports are helpful, they can be inconclusive, and that's when things get really interesting in the lab. Kat and her team deep dive into the genetics of fungicide resistance to do DNA sequencing and mutation profiling using high-level science and analysis. The CCDM can identify DNA mutations that reveal evidence of resistance, leading to a targeted response that supports the centre's commitment to today's growers while enhancing industry research capabilities for the future.
This information is really important for the industry, really important for growers, but we also use it for research purposes as well. We need to know where resistance is happening across the country and how it's happening. So what are the mechanisms that the fungus is using to become resistant to these fungicides? So yes, we do use those for research purposes as well.
So this is barley infected with net form of net blotch.
If fungicide resistance is confirmed, the centre recommends, where possible, changing management practices that don't always require fungicides, but can reduce disease pressures such as crop rotations.
You don't want to be planting barley on barley because the disease resides in the stubble from the year before. And secondly, you also want to be controlling the green bridges around your areas so that the disease can't spread through those green bridges and then spread through your crops as well. It's all about reducing the disease pressure in the field so that you don't need to use fungicides.
Applying the Afrin 5 gives growers a practical and frontline defence.
The biggest one that we recommend is that you use varieties in your crops that are not susceptible to the diseases. So resistant varieties is the best way that you can avoid fungicide resistance spreading in your field.
While fungicide resistance remains an inherent part of farming, growers can be confident in their ability to understand and manage the challenges, with the Centre for Crop and Disease Management at the forefront of developing and leading effective strategies into the future.
Fungicide resistance is never going to go away. So we have a lot of research going on here that is there to support the growers and support the agronomists so that they know how they can include fungicide resistance management practices.
Yes, exactly. So a large part of what we do and we think is really important is extension. So it's really important that growers understand what we do and the service that we provide to the industry, because we're all very passionate about what we do and we're all very passionate about extending that to the growers.